I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we have, tonight, we have the first agenda number would be the Night of Champions, and that's going to be, the mayor and council is going to be honoring St. Ephraim's Regional 19 volleyball champions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I thought there'd be 10 of you, but okay. All right, and are you guys the coaches? Is that right? All right, you want to come to the podium over here, please? We have the mayor. Can we have the mayor and council all come over here also, please, so they can receive their awards? Yes, please. Bring it, guys. Joe, come.
Oh, everybody's coming? I thought just the president.
Would you like to come up and explain to us your achievement and the league you're in?
Oh my God.
Please.
She's a shy one. Hi, thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting us tonight to the council meeting. We are very proud of our 8th grade girls from St. Ephraim. This is actually the first year that we had a volleyball team at St. Ephraim. And guess what? All over girls came up, showed up. And I think I forgot, Grace is 7th grade, right? It's our varsity Region 19, and we were undefeated for the whole season. So we made it to the playoffs. So proud of these girls. Again, thank you very much for inviting us tonight.
Do you want to say a couple of words?
You have to. She's actually.
Come on, we'll come together. Come on.
I'll hold your hand.
I'm saying them already.
I'll hold your hand.
Come up with your hand.
You announce the names. You announce the names.
I'll announce names. I will announce the names, yes.
You announce the names then, and we'll all,
I could do this.
okay? There you go.
All right, Sarah Beck. Are you staying up here?
Congratulations, dear.
Turn around this way. Turn around this way.
Izzy.
You gotta get all council in.
There you go. Council Pete, come on there, Joe.
Good job.
How are we going to line up?
Okay?
You got it? Yeah.
Izzy, Bonner. Are we staying up?
Congratulations.
That's the coach's daughter, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Brianna Dole.
Congratulations. Brianna.
So they have tall girls, that's how they won.
We know the trick.
I'm gonna start stepping on my tippy toes with these.
Emily Geyer. She's our
They are
tallest.
tall.
She's our tallest. Natalie Harris. Good job, Nat.
You play the backcourt, right?
Yeah,
Excellent.
Still
The
pretty
best
tall for
backcourt
her.
player ever.
I do.
All right, we got Vale LaDuca. Another tall one.
Congratulations. I think it's a tie in tallest.
Yeah.
They keep growing. Grace McCarthy. My 7th grader. She'll be back next
Are
year
you in the
doing
black
this all over
backcourt
again.
too?
Nah, yeah,
She's
pretty
all
good.
over.
All of
Like,
it.
yes. Carly Weiss. Good job, Carly.
Congratulations.
We got Coach Luz. That's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the picture. Here, come in, we'll take a picture. Okay. They got it, Joe. They got
I'll
it.
get it. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you
announce
very
your name?
much. Coach Weiss. Announcing your own name.
you doing?
Congratulations, St. Ephraim's.
Yeah. And who did you beat in the championship?
What is it?
Who'd you beat in the championship game?
St. Andrews.
Yes, I wanted to mention that. Yes.
Everybody.
We beat them all this year.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much.
Love recognizing kids.
Once again, it's just an example of what teams can do working together. Beautiful young ladies. Hopefully, you'll have a future, possibly going into high school, and then who knows, college, and from there, it will just advance everything you want to do in life. So thanks very much. And the good news, ladies, you don't have to stay. If you'd like to leave, you can leave because the rest of the meeting is municipal boring stuff. So if you like, you can stand up and you leave. Why don't, and your parents will like that too. Agenda number 2 is public comments, but we usually like to hold them to the end unless you have an individual item you'd like to bring up when the specific agenda item would meet your requirements of speaking. Agenda item number 3 is going to be the approval of the council minutes, and that we have 2 of them, November 28th and December 5th. Since they are different type of meetings, I'm going to ask that they be approved individually. And November 28th, I didn't see any changes, but I'm going to ask the council if they saw any corrections that needed to be made. If not, I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
So moved.
We have a motion to accept it as presented. Second, we have a second. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against, any abstentions, unanimous. December 5th was our budget meeting. Also, I'm going to ask for a motion to be put on the floor. We have a motion on the floor to accept it as presented. I have a quiet second from over there. Thank you, Ms. Benitez. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against, any abstentions? Aye, that's unanimous also. We're going to move on to agenda item number 4. This is consideration of amending the 2021-2022 Community Development Block Grant Program. Mr. Mayor, you're involved with this. This is your thing?
Well, obviously, we did this a couple times. We keep moving this money around, so we're asking again to be able to do that. We just did it, if you remember, in December beginning, so now we have to do it again. This is all HUD money.
All right, everyone read what's happening here. It's basically, as the mayor said, moving money from one department to another, and so it has to be approved by council. Any questions on the proposal?
So they're moving it to another project, the ADA curb cut program?
Yes, we have to,
Okay.
and we had to specify it every time we do
Okay.
something different.
Good.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to be put on the floor.
I'll put a motion that we approve the amendment for the 2021-22 Community Development Block Grant Program as presented.
We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
We have a second on the motion. I'll get to Stacy on this one. All those in favor signify with an aye. Against, any abstentions? That's unanimous. And then we move on to agenda item number 5. And this is a consideration of a resolution. This will be authorizing the acceptance of the municipal grant program contract awarded by the Redevelopment Authority, RAD, Redevelopment Authority. This is a Bucks County in the amounts of $115,600. This is regarding the Bucks County Police Chiefs Association Record Management System. Mr. Pizzo.
Certainly. This applies to both items 5 and 6, what I'm about to say. As council will recall, last year you approved the submission by the administration of several municipal grant applications for to the County Redevelopment Authority, seeking funding from that municipal grant program that is funded by money from Parks Casino, and the township is one of the eligible communities along with Middletown, Pendle, Lower South, the county, and through the county, Bristol Township, and other municipalities. So this is something we've been doing every year. In terms of the applications that you submitted or approved for submission, the County Redevelopment Authority approved 2 of them. Item 5, they approved our application for in the amount of $115,600 for the Police Chiefs Association Record Management System funding. And in item 6, they approved $165,000 for the funding of the Towns Against Graffiti. And again, Towns Against Graffiti, that money goes not only to Bensalem, but to all of the municipalities that make up that consortium, Bensalem acting as the lead agency and the administrative agency. So,
Is the records management system, is that moving it onto computers and moving it from a paper product to a product on the computer? Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yes. Agenda item number 5.
It's the police chiefs, it's not our police.
Right.
Right.
It's for the Police Chiefs Association, correct. So, again, both 5 and 6 are items the council already approved the submission for. The RDA has approved them, and so in this case, in order to get the monies, the process through the RDA is that we have to adopt resolutions agreeing to accept those funds and to administer them consistent with the terms of the municipal grant program. So these resolutions are in a form acceptable for your consideration and approval this evening.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to be put on the floor. If there are any questions, please bring them up at this point. If not, a motion for agenda item number 5 and 6, since they're somewhat identical.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the Bucks County Police Chiefs Association for their grant and the grant for the Towns Against Graffiti as presented.
We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
We have a second on the motion. Any additional discussion? Not hearing any. Those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? That is unanimous. Agenda on item number 7, Mr. Pizzo.
Certainly. Council had previously tabled the land development application for 1515 Gibson Road subdivision to a date certain of this evening. Earlier today, the township received correspondence from the attorney representing the applicant advising that it's their intention to revise the plan consistent with the comments they heard from council at the earlier hearing to eliminate the flag lot or the lot, the second lot that was fronting on Gibson Road, and to make sure that the cul-de-sac is widened consistent with council's desire that it would accommodate automobile parking on both sides. So in order for them to fully engineer and submit those revisions and to provide for approval, review of the same by the township, they've asked that this evening's hearing be tabled to a date certain of February 13, 2023. That will give them time to get that in and for the township to review it prior to your action on it. They have given the township an extension of time of the applicable deadlines under the municipality's planning code for the consideration and approval of the project through to and including February 28, 2023. So if council is of a mind, the appropriate action would be to table item 7 to a date certain of February 13, 2023. I would also note, Mr. Kisselbeck, that item 8, which would be the Act 537 resolution applicable to that plan, that should probably be tabled as well, inasmuch as council would not normally act on that particular resolution until such time as council were to approve a plan, if in fact you do approve it. So both items 7 and 8 council may want to table to a date certain of February 13.
Okay, I'll bring it up, and I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor. If there are no objections,
I'll make a motion to remove the preliminary and final development for Gibson Holdings, along with the resolution for the Sewage Facilities Act, to a date certain of February 13, 2023.
and that's for both 7 and 8.
Yep.
I ask for a second on that motion.
Second.
We have a second on the motion. Any additional discussion on it? Oh, I'm sorry, it's a table. I'll call the vote. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. Any against, abstentions? All right, that's unanimous again. Here we go. Moving on to agenda item number 9. This is consideration of an ordinance. This is approving the request of the CBOCS Pennsylvania LLC to transfer a liquor license, this is number R42640, to the township, repealing all inconsistent ordinances and establishing an effective date therefore. Mr. Pizer, what does that acronym stand for? CBOCS?
It's some acronym. The
Thanks.
first 2 letters are for Cracker Barrel. Counsel for Cracker Barrel, who's here for this particular item, I'm sure can provide us with the additional letters. But this is, as you indicated, Mr. Kisselback, a request for an intermunicipal liquor license transfer, and it is applicable to the Cracker Barrel restaurant located on Horizon Boulevard.
Old Country Store is pointed out to me. Cracker Barrel Old Country Store, Pennsylvania. Okay.
Very creative.
What's that?
I said the acronym's very creative.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, sir, and your name is?
My name is Ken McDermott.
Ken McDermott, and you're here because you're asking for a liquor license for Cracker Barrel.
We are requesting the township's approval, yes.
Okay, is there anything that you need to add to that?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Ken McDermott. I'm here with Craig Tucker, who is part of the management team at the local Cracker Barrel here in Bensalem. Usually what I like to do is just give you a brief overview of what Cracker Barrel intends to do if we get a liquor license. And then I would also have some testimony from Greg as well. And of course, we can answer any of the council's questions related to the proposed operations of Cracker Barrel and the intentions that we have. So I'll give a brief overview, and then we'll go from there. We'll see if the council has any questions for us, and we'll answer those in turn, okay?
Please do.
All right. So we're here on behalf of CBOCS Pennsylvania LLC, which is the subsidiary of Cracker Barrel Old Country Store Incorporated. CBOCS Pennsylvania LLC owns and operates all of the Cracker Barrel restaurant locations within Pennsylvania, including the one here in Bensalem Township at 3611 Horizon Boulevard. The store is company-owned, it's not franchised, and I think what you see in terms of Cracker Barrel is a very consistent product nationwide. Cracker Barrel really prides itself on maintaining a consistent level in appearance across its stores. So if you walk into the Bensalem location, it's going to look and act mostly the same as if you walked into a location in Georgia or South Carolina, whatever the case may be. It's a very consistent brand, and it takes a lot of pride in the brand that it has created. We're here today asking your permission to transfer a liquor license to this location. The license is currently held by Sly Tom's Bristol LLC, located at 2621 Durham Road in Bristol. The license is currently in safekeeping, which tells me that that particular restaurant is no longer operating at the moment. You may be a little surprised to hear that Cracker Barrel is asking for a liquor license. This was really driven on a national level by customer feedback across the board. General inquiries about, hey, it'd be really nice if I could have a beer with my dinner, or a glass of wine, or a mimosa with my brunch, that sort of thing. Pennsylvania's kind of been towards the end of the rollout across the country because of our let's just say, unique liquor laws that we have here in Pennsylvania. But we have started the process across the state, across the Commonwealth. We don't have any currently licensed, but we're in various stages of trying to get those licenses, including by coming here tonight and asking for your permission as well. I want to emphasize that what Cracker Barrel is planning to do is a very limited alcohol menu. And I do have a representative menu of what that might look like. Cracker Barrel, as I said before, knows it has a very specific brand, it has a very specific image. It's not going to turn itself into a sports bar or anything like that. This is really just to be a complement to the existing menu. It is not to supersede the existing menu or the options that most customers know that they can get at Cracker Barrel. Cocktails and wine and beer are all going to be prepackaged. We're not going to install a bar. There's not going to be a tap system or a draft system. Like I said, everything's going to be prepackaged. We're not going to have live bands or DJs or anything like that. Hours of operation are not going to change. It's going to be the same, pretty much the same today as it would be if we do get the liquor license. For all intents and purposes, the store is going to appear to operate pretty much exactly the same, with the exception of a limited alcohol menu. We're not going to undertake any major renovations. We're not adding tables. We're not tearing down walls and adding additional seating areas, that sort of thing. So I don't anticipate any additional traffic concerns. What the footprint that we currently have is the footprint that is going to be in place if we were to get a liquor license. I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Are there any questions from the council from this, at this point? I know you want to make another presentation. Is there any questions from the council members?
I just want to ask you, do you have other stores that are actually functioning already with liquor licenses?
Not in the state of
Not
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, but everywhere else?
There are states, or other states that have already gone through the process and do have stores that are approved for alcohol sales, yes.
And your associate, do you have something to say also? Is that correct?
No.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Is there anyone from the audience who'd like to make a comment? What's that? Is there anyone from the audience who would like to make a comment on this proposed ordinance? I guess it's an ordinance, right?
One question, if I could.
Oh, okay, sure.
Well, are you gonna have takeout?
The initial plan is not to have takeout. The license, a restaurant license does have that privilege. But as far as the initial rollout, no. It's going to be on-site, on-premise consumption. I can't promise the council that would never occur. At some point down the road, the plan might change. And there might be 6 packs to go in accordance with Pennsylvania's liquor code. But that's not part of the initial plan, no.
Are there any other questions from the council? And,
Yes.
Not changing the name of the beer barrel or anything.
Whiskey barrel.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, your pleasure. Council members? I ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance request from CBOC Pennsylvania LLC to transfer liquor license number R42640 into the township.
We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
We have a second on the motion. Is there any additional discussion? Not hearing any. Those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against? Any abstentions? So it's unanimous. Gentlemen,
Thank you very much.
nice and easy, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. We love Caracal Barrel, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
It's good to hear.
Yep. Just there on Saturday. Agenda item 10, we have a consideration, this is of a land development extension agreement, VIP Wireless Holdings LLC, and this will be extended, Wireless Holdings, to August of 2023. Mr. Pizzo?
That's correct, Mr. Kisselbeck. This is a land development agreement that has previously been approved by council for VIP Wireless Holding for their property at 1411 Ford Road. We're coming up on the expiration date of that agreement. There are still items that need to be completed, and so the applicant has requested the extension of the agreement out to August 18, 2023. If council is inclined to grant the request, which the administration is recommending, the administration would also recommend that any such extension be subject to an audit by the township engineer and the township finance department of the escrows applicable to the project to make sure that there are sufficient funds to carry through all the way to completion.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the details we need. I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor unless you have any questions at this time.
I'll make a motion that we extend by 1 year as requested the VIP Wireless Holdings LLC Land Development Extension Agreement.
I'll second
All right, we have a motion on the floor, second on the motion. Any additional discussion? Not hearing any. Those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. Any against, any abstentions? Okay, we have number 11. This is agenda consideration and the signing of the agreement for the Presto Tape. This is at 1766 Winchester Road, and this is a light industrial area, zoning classification, and the tax map parcel is 02-045-021. You may remember them. They had quite a remarkable presentation they had made to us. Sounds like a place I wouldn't mind working for. They seem to take care of their employees in a very family-oriented type business. So, with that said, I'll ask for Mr. Pizzo to add to this specific legal aspect of what we're doing with the Presto Tape Company.
Certainly, Mr. Kisselback. This is the Land Development Improvements Agreement and the Stormwater Best Management Practice Operation and Maintenance Agreement for the Presto Tape property at 1766 Winchester Road. These agreements were prepared by my office. They've been fully executed by the developer. The developer has posted all of the required cash escrows and fees with the township, as well as provided the required insurance certificates. The agreements are in a form acceptable for your consideration and approval at this time.
Okay, and this is for land development improvement agreement as well as stormwater best management practices. Any questions from the council? I'll ask for a motion again to be put on the floor for this proposal.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor. Second. We have a second on the motion. Any additional discussion? Not hearing any. Those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Unanimous again. This is agenda item number 12, and this is a request for a waiver of driveway. This is located on Clayton Mills, which is off of Humeville Road in Camel, right next to the Acme on Humeville Road. And this is for a waiver for the driveway location installation. Is anyone here for that? Okay, please come up. And your name is?
Clayton Mills?
Okay, and you're asking for a driveway, or for the, not to have a driveway in that area because there's one next door to it? Is that?
No, we want to put a driveway where my parents are constructing their garage.
Okay,
We want the driveway so they can pull right into the garage.
okay,
The location we're asking, actually, when there was a house there in the 60s, that's where the driveway was. And then when I had a friend parking trucks there, it was the same driveway. But with the setbacks, we just need to ask for your permission to basically keep the driveway so they can pull in and drive right into their garage.
makes sense to me.
Is the house being built at the same time as the garage, or is the house already there?
House is,
The garage is being built, the house is a modular, so it's being constructed, but they're not dropping it till June.
Okay.
So,
But there was a house there before.
in the 60s.
And it's 60. Okay.
oh, I'm sorry. I got you. All right, so that's your presentation, correct?
That's my presentation.
That sounds good to me.
Shorts, keep it simple.
All right, is there any additional discussion? Any questions from the council members?
No, we kept it simple.
Okay, I'm looking at the waiver. Okay, it's a waiver, so therefore, any questions from the council members? Not hearing any, I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor to move the driveway as requested and presented to us.
I'll put a motion on the floor for waiver for a driveway location installation at Humeville and Camel Avenue, tax parcel 02052-003.
All right, so I have a motion on the floor.
Second?
Second on the motion, all those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against, any abstentions? You gonna play music on the opening of the
Yes, sir.
house too? A little Irish music there for us? Okay, great, okay.
you, guys.
It's been approved.
Thank you, and thank you for all that you do with our students and in our community. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Agenda item number 12, and this is, I'm sorry, I already did it. Going on to 13. And this is a request for a waiver. This is of curbs and sidewalks installation subject to payment of fee in lieu of, and this is a request by Squire Home Builders LLC, 2526 Paris Avenue, tax map parcel 02-007-079. And is there anyone representing Squire Home Builders? Okay, Mr. Pisa, would you help us along with this one then?
Certainly. And it's routinely, the township doesn't require just for a straight curb and sidewalk waiver for the applicant to be here. In this instance, the applicant is requesting a waiver. It's been determined that there are no curbs and sidewalks in the area and that there would be no useful purpose served by requiring the installation at this time. Township ordinance requires the payment of a fee in lieu of and an amount calculated by the township engineer based on the current costs of installation. I believe the township engineer is recommending that the township grant the waiver and impose the fee in lieu of curbs and sidewalks.
All right, that's the entire presentation. Did very well. Maybe you'll be on the other side of that podium someday, Mr. Joe?
Perhaps.
Okay. That being said, are there any comments from our council members?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Was this for a prior land development? Has the land development been approved, or why is that? Usually we do these when we're doing land development. Is there a reason we're doing this without a land development?
It may be development on a single lot, but I'll hand it over to Mr. Wersta or Mr. Neron. They may have a little more history.
Mr. Neron?
This is a single lot.
Looks like a single lot in the middle of this lot.
And go ahead.
Yes, this is a single lot construction. Wasn't part of a subdivision or anything like that. That answers
But
your
it's
question.
something that was approved by you guys to be built there?
It's under review now.
Okay,
for
so we're
construction.
approving the waiver of curbs and sidewalks without having a land development in front of us. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Is that
It's a-
is that a new policy that we're doing?
Well, it's not a land development, it's a new home construction. It doesn't require land development approval.
So it's not
from
going to have to
council.
come in front of us for approval? They're going to fit in there without our approvals?
Correct. It's
Okay,
go-
that's good. That's all we need to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I have one question. This neighborhood's very old, correct? In the sense that it was built many years ago? And that it wouldn't have had curbs and sidewalks required then? Is that one of the reasons why? This is in Laconia? Is that-
This is in Laconia. I'm not sure when that development was approved, but any new houses that are going in that neighborhood do have to go through this process.
Concord, probably.
Okay.
It's in the 50s or 60s, but I mean, it's in the middle of the block. There's no.
Oh, no, I know, but I'm just saying, before, they wouldn't have had to ask for a waiver for curbs and
Probably not.
sidewalks. Sorry, my voice is a little bit iffy this evening, so.
So if there's an individual lot and it's being constructed, it doesn't have to come before council. Is that what you just said?
Correct. Only if there's a subdivision that would be before council, or if it was like a land development project for multiple lots in that development.
Right, and the engineer approved this since the description was exactly as you had just said. There's no other curb or sidewalks right or left of it.
Correct. There's nothing in the vicinity of the existing lot that's there. Typically, what we're looking at is if there's a corner lot, we will require that to have at least curbing installed.
Or if they needed any waivers or anything
Correct.
like that, they'd have to come in front of us, but they fit within the lot that's there.
Correct.
These are all done by permits through building and planning.
Just wanted to confirm that what
Good-
we're doing.
good question.
So,
And if it is approved or put on the floor as a motion, we have to make sure that we put in there that it would be subject to the payment in fee in lieu of,
Correct.
and that would be part of the motion. So with that, if there are no additional questions, I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
Make a motion to approve waiver of curb and sidewalk installation subject to the payment of a fee in lieu of request.
All right, we have a motion.
For Squire Home Builders.
Sorry.
2526 Paris Avenue, tax parcel 02-007-079.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
We have a second motion, Mr. Polari. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against, abstentions, that is unanimous. And now we're going to move on to agenda item number 14, and this is a consideration of an escrow release. This is for Marketplace, and this is at Neshaminy. This will be release number 2, Rock Hill Drive, and it's 2-1-37. The amount is $120,000, and I'm going to give this to our engineer. Phil, would you like to take this?
Yes, Mr. President. This is the escrow release for the development that it was going to on at the Marketplace across from the mall. They have they've finished up their, I think they've completed all their improvements, and we've inspected them. Mild storm drainage issues, lighting issues, just cleanup stuffs, and we are releasing their 10% contingencies as part of this, or we're recommending that. So that'll leave us 0 remaining, and it effectively closes out the project.
And the Marketplace, what exactly is that? What type of edifice is that?
Isn't that the,
That was the Target and Home Depot shopping center, correct?
It's from the Audi,
Oh, it's
The Audi.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what you said.
what is
yeah.
it?
it was the Audi build out.
Okay,
They put the underground system in.
okay. Want to make sure. All right, we have that. All right, I think we have this one here. Any additional questions from council members? Okay, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
We have a second on the motion. All those and this is subject to the auditor's, whatever, approval. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. Aye, everyone has ayes, okay? Very good. Agenda item number 15, consideration of an ordinance. This is to repeal ordinance 2022-6. This is amendments to the R55 Riverfront Revitalization District Ordinance. I'm sure that Mr. Pizza has been waiting with bated breath to make this presentation to us.
As council will recall, I believe it was in November, following the council's adoption earlier in 2022 of ordinance 2022-6, which made various revisions to the township's zoning ordinance as it pertained to the R55 Riverfront Revitalization District, and specifically as to what were and were not permitted uses in that district. Following the township's adoption of ordinance 2022-6, the township received a variety of responses and feedback from many of the businesses and property owners located within the Riverfront Revitalization District. The township subsequently started the process of creating a new zoning district, R55A, which would have then further rezoned certain of the properties within the riverfront area to essentially restore some of the uses that had been eliminated by the township's adoption of ordinance 2022-6. Following further discussions with business and property owners in the area, as well as the institution of an appeal by certain of those property owners in regard to ordinance 2022-6, council decided in, I believe it was November or early December of last year, that in light of all of the feedback that was being received, as well as the status of a variety of land development applications that were in various stages of submission and review, perhaps the best thing to do was to take a step back and, for lack of a better way of saying it, reset the zoning situation down within the Riverfront Revitalization District. And so at that time, you recommended unanimously the advertisement of the ordinance that is in front of you this evening. This ordinance, should you adopt it, would repeal Ordinance 22-06, would negate the need for proceeding with the R55A amendments, and would essentially reset the zoning down within the Riverfront Revitalization District to exactly what it was prior to August of 2022. So the ordinance has been properly advertised. It has been reviewed by both the county and township planning commissions. It is in a form acceptable for your consideration this evening. And again, if you should choose to adopt it, it will restore the zoning within the R55 district back to what it was for the last roughly 17 years and up to and through August of 2022.
So that's called forward into the past.
Exactly.
Okay, everybody have that?
I just have one question. The section of property on the riverfront side, sorry, the east side of State Road, right? That will remain the R55A zoning? Or
No, council
none of
never
it?
formally adopted the R55A. We did prepare it. It was reviewed by the various planning commissions, but then it was subsequently decided, or at least among your discussions late last year, to simply move forward with this repeal and not move forward at this point in time with the R55A. So everything in the Riverfront District will remain as it was, again, prior to August 22. Should council wish to consider, having now taken a step back, essentially doing a reset, and look specifically at what you might want to do for those properties located east of State Road, between State Road and the waterfront, that's something that the administration's looking at, and we'll be coming back to you, I would assume, with a recommendation sometime in the future. But we're taking a step back and a global look, not only at the zoning down there, but also Renaissance Boulevard and the system of proposed streets and roads down within the district. There are still some outstanding stormwater issues down within that area, which we're taking a second look at. So it's an opportunity for, again, a review and a reset at this point in time.
And that would be, was it MXD down there?
There are two property, or not two properties, there are two projects the council previously reviewed that are under the MXD zoning. Those would be the waterside development, which is obviously currently under construction. The other was the project that was called the Landings, which is along State Road near its intersection with Street Road. And at the time it was approved, encompassed the Columbus Country Club property and certain other properties in that area, up to but not including the Philadelphia Gun Club property.
Okay, that's presented extremely well, and I think we all understood, because we've been dealing with it for months, but we appreciate your explanation of what's happening here.
This also will effectively end the appeal that was filed against the township as well.
Correct. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, any other questions? I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor then.
I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance repeal as presented.
We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
We have a second on the motion. Any additional discussion? Not hearing any. Those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? And we also, We also have agenda item number 16, which periodically we've done this in the past, and this is a consideration of an ordinance. Let me go back, if I may. I should ask for public comment on number 15, so if there's anyone like to speak in favor of or against that ordinance, please do come up at this time. Not seeing anyone come up, then we'll close that part of it, and we'll accept the ordinance as presented. And then we have agenda item number 16, which is a consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 229, Vehicles for Hire. This is Section 229-27, and this is for duties of licensees. Mr. Pizzo?
Yes. Again, with the flipping of the calendar and the start of a new year, as the township does, there had been a request for a review and a review undertaken of the fees that are permitted to be charged by the township's duty tow wreckers. The Department of Public Safety undertook a review of what the current fees being charged are, as well as what fees are being charged by surrounding municipalities and what is customary in the marketplace. The fees that are in the ordinance that's in front of you today are the result of that effort by Director McVeigh and his staff. And so if council is of a mind, the adoption of this ordinance will amend Chapter 229 of the Township Code, and specifically will set current fees for towing and storage of vehicles by the towers who are on the township's duty tow list.
All right, so we have the information in front of us. We go to page 2, and we have the actual ordinance with the amount that is being recommended. We should have had what were the past fees, so we can compare them, so we know what's happening, even though it went through a committee. But basically, the wrecker flat fee at this time is $175 per tow for service. Heavy-duty wrecker is $265 per towing service, any day of the week and any time of the day. Storage is $75 per day, outside storage, $100 per day, inside storage. And at number 4 says unusual circumstances, additional fees at a reasonable prevailing rate may be applied to the case of an unusual circumstance, serious wrecked vehicles, vehicles in remote or inaccessible areas, cleanup of exceptional amount of debris, and like situations. And that's basically where we are with that. Okay, so any other questions, ladies and gentlemen, on this particular ordinance? Would anyone like to come forward and comment on this ordinance proposed? Not seeing anyone come forward? Not hearing any other questions, I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
I'll make a motion to accept.
We have, we-
229 vehicles for hire.
okay, we have Joe Polari on the first. You want to go with a second on that one?
Okay, yeah, I didn't hear it. Good.
That's okay. Yeah, he did.
Okay, all right, so I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, we have a second. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against, any abstentions? Unanimous? Okay, we're going on to agenda item number 17, which is public comment. Would anyone like to come forward for public comment?
Good evening, council. Joe Connolly, 568 Bristol Pike. I'm here about the dirt pile.
Well, I'll move that over to the, I guess, Mr. Pizzo. Did that, the dirt pile, wasn't that taken care of?
Yeah, I believe Mr. Neron can give you an update as to what's transpired since last time this august body discussed
And
dirt.
what's your question with the dirt pile, if I may ask, Mr. Conley?
Well, they came in there, they moved the dirt around. Number one, I'd like to know if they had a permit and a plan.
Do you have a
because they
permit
moved-
for
They
the,
put a big pile of dirt on my property. They moved it on my property.
do you have a permit for the storage facility that you put on your property?
Excuse, say it again?
I said, do you have a permit for the storage building that you put on your property?
Did they put on my property? No, they put dirt on my property.
Is there not a storage facility on your property now, a storage building?
No,
There is not.
no.
Is that correct? Okay. That's part of your question, okay, thank you. The mayor's got a-
So regarding the dirt pile, a few weeks back, at the last meeting, I believe it was in November, we had a contractor go out, which then reshaped where our dirt was on 634 Bristol Pike. We ended up moving about 2,000 yards to 700 Bristol Pike, which was graded and seeded. And the area at 634 was graded so that no drainage runoff would actually go on to 568 Mr. Connolly's property. That work's been done since the beginning of December. We've had it stabilized temporarily because of the time of year, so we have matting up as well as seed and mulch, which is required by the county. So as far as I know, we don't have any more drainage issues. There is a couple areas where our access was from 634 to 700, which we need to address a little bit, but the ground's not favorable right now, so we haven't really addressed that item. But other than that, we feel that we are done with the work that we have to do over there at 634 Bristol Pike.
So the town's position is that the dirt has been removed, it's been seeded, and it's in the acceptable,
Conditions, except for it's not stabilized yet because of the time of year.
I understand that, okay, so we have to go in and, what you say with the road, you have to do?
Well, there's an area that we use for access from 634 to 700. We didn't go on the streets. We went through the grass.
Okay,
So we had to
I
restore
understand.
that area there.
Okay.
So we do have some minor little ponding that's not draining off during rains, which we'll have to address at some
Yeah,
point.
you couldn't drive through there now, you would sink.
No, it's wet.
20 feet deep, exactly right.
correct.
Okay, so with that being said, Mr. Conley,
In other
does that
words-
address your
no-
question?
In other words, the township has done this project, correct?
Yes,
They're responsible for this work?
yes.
Okay, well, they put the dirt on my property. By my tax map, the dirt is on my property. They put a hill, it's like this. All the water's running on my property. And not only that, I got a thing here.
Before you
Oh,
go,
Mr.
before you go
Pizzo.
on, before you go on, please address that.
So basically what we did was there was an existing stockpile that everybody knows. The toe slope, which was on the property line from what we understood, was brought back into 634. We did not encroach any further into 568 Bristol Pike during any of the operations.
That's not
Okay.
true. That's not true. You know, your tax map is the area that you pay tax on. Everybody has a tax map. It's your partial. It's basically when you buy a glass of soda or water, it says 12 ounces. There's got to be 12 ounces in there. When you pay tax on a certain area, your recorded tax map, that's the area you pay tax on. My tax map line runs right through Popley's property. I'm paying his property tax. That's consumer fraud. So far, 13 lands, I just hired a land surveyor again today.
Listen to me, stop,
Uh-huh.
stop right there. We
Okay.
heard this whole story 20 times, 30 times,
That's
40
right, and
times
I'm- Mm-hmm.
last year. And listen to me, listen to me. We were addressing the dirt, and that's what you had asked us to do for you. To
Right.
remove the dirt from the property.
And they moved it on my property.
On
On your claim property.
our
Yes. They moved it on my property.
Our township engineer is
Yes, the
telling
township
us that
moved the
they
dirt on my
moved the
property.
dirt, they moved the dirt,
Mhm.
and they addressed the problem, and other than some minor things that we have to resolve when the weather is proper, which is basically tracks from trucks and things like that, smooth it out, we're finished. Now, your
No,
contention
no.
is what?
My case is they came and they pushed the dirt on my property and put a big mound there to stop the water from coming off Popley's parking lot. This should have even been done. This should have been done when Popley first did it. And then I found this here, that the township owns the property in between Popley's property and the storage property. This is their easement agreement right here. But the only problem with this agreement, it's missing the most two important pages, Exhibit B and page 3. It shows you where the property is, what you own.
I don't want to hear anything about property problems that you have relative to the,
Mr. Kizelback.
Yes, sir.
I know you don't want to hear, because I know nobody wants to hear me up here. I understand
Well, because
that.
you've told us this over and over
And I'm going to come to every
again.
township.
Listen, I'm not
I
going to
know that,
argue
but I'm
with
going to
you.
come to every meeting and keep
I'm
on
not
telling
going
you
to
the
argue
same
with you,
thing.
I'm just making a statement that what you had,
You're stealing my
what
property
you
off my
had
family.
done.
My property's
We're not stealing
land.
any property, what our duty was to make sure that dirt was off of your property and level it off, and
I want to,
according to our engineer, he's telling us that that was done. Now, as far as your discussion with title insurance and who owns what property and where the line is of the properties, again, for the millionth time, you've been told, you have to take that to county. It's a county issue.
I went to the
We
county.
have no
Sue Yarling.
jurisdiction.
Is it Sue
We have
Yarling?
no jurisdiction over that
I went to
question.
court, Mr. Kisselback, I went to court about 3 weeks ago. I couldn't get an attorney, couldn't find one, okay?
Can't imagine why.
How about that, huh? Imagine that? So I went there, I lost. But Popley's, his star witness was Gilmore Associates, the guy that did the fraudulent deed when they subdivided the individual driveway
Dan, I don't want to
property.
hear about the deeds. I don't
No,
want
I
to
know
hear
you don't wanna
property.
hear about it.
I do not, no, I don't want to hear about it.
Nothing to do with us.
Yeah, it does.
All right, listen.
They're covering this up for you guys.
right.
Wait a minute. Mr. Olander built the illegal addition back in '84.
We
And
heard
then
it.
you guys moved all the monuments around on my property.
heard it.
I have no monuments on my
All
property.
right, I'm going to interject this right now. Your time is up.
My time's up?
Your time is up.
Okay. What I'll do is I'm gonna put a big sign out in front of my house that Bensalem Township is stealing my family's land, okay? And
Put
maybe
my
you can
name
sue
on
me.
there if you want.
Maybe you'll sue me, huh? I ain't gonna, maybe in federal court I might win, but not up in Doylestown.
We're not gonna sue
Because
you.
you guys are all connected up there with the lawyers and the
If we
judge.
can help you any more
It's
with the,
sickening.
if we can help you any more with the property and
I'll
the
tell you what,
distribution of the
what's
dirt,
going on
and to
here-
make sure that it's proper, we will
What's
do
going
that.
on here is very sickening. And I will never, to the day I die, I'll be here fighting for my family's land that's being stolen from me from Bensalem Township.
And I wish you
And-
well. I
and-
wish you
and
well
the
with
land
that.
surveyors, okay, 13 land surveyors conspired with you guys. They have a law to protect families' land. They ain't done that. Okay, 13 land surveyors marked my property wrong. Michael Hanley, Popley's attorney, he came knocking on my door last week.
Did you ever look in the mirror?
I actually did, yeah.
And say to yourself,
Yeah.
if the whole world is saying this and I'm saying that, maybe I'm wrong?
Nah,
Well,
I'm not
okay.
wrong. Hey, Mr. Kisselback, I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
I'll get my deed, okay? You know there's 12 inches in a foot, right? You know how to read. We're gonna start at my point of the beginning on my deed that's down by the bridge, and we'll get my walk wheel, and we'll measure it together, okay? And you tell me what you think.
I think.
I have 366 foot of frontage on Route 13, and my property is 228 feet wide in the back.
We're done.
You
We're
wanna
done.
measure it with me?
We're done. We're done.
We're done.
Yes,
You don't
sir.
wanna do that, do you?
Nope. We're
Okay.
done.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
I will be putting that in the paper though, but don't worry. I will never give up, and I'll see you at the next township meeting.
Thank you for your comments.
I never seen corruption like this.
Okay, moving right on to agenda item number 18. This is other business from personnel, and we're going to start with our township engineer. Phil Worcester, you have anything to say this evening?
No, Mr. President.
Nothing from you. Debbie McBreen, would you like to add anything this evening? Okay, moving on to the extreme right of the podium, of the dais here. Mr. Pizzo, is there anything you'd like to add?
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, he says. Okay. Mayor DiGirolamo, what would you like to add?
Quickly, today is National Law Enforcement Day. I don't know if you all knew that, but in Bensalem, we celebrate that every day. So just want to let you know that. And Unity Week, which is coming up starting next Monday. So hope people come out and attend. It's a whole week long, and the schedule, you can go online and see the schedule. And Happy New Year. Go Eagles, I guess.
Go Eagles, you guess. Okay, that's fine. And tonight, there's a football game on, I think? 7-0 Georgia. Okay, all right, moving right along. Michelle Benitez, Councilwoman, please.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Happy National Law Enforcement Appreciation Week. We love our Bensalem police officers every day. We appreciate you and all that you do for our community to keep us safe. I sleep well at night in Bensalem because of you, so thank you. Be safe, and thank you to your families, too, that let us borrow you every day. And then Unity Week, yes, Unity Week is huge. I'm so excited about it. It's hosted by Building a Better Bensalem Together. And we're actually kicking off on Sunday this year at Love Fellowship Tabernacle at 5 o'clock. So Sunday the 15th, 5 o'clock at Love Fellowship Tabernacle on Humeville Road. If you can make it there, it's always a great service to really get the energy charged for the week. It's a lot of fun. And as the Mayor said, you can check this out online on the Township website or on our Building a Better Bensalem Together Facebook page or website. Thank Thanks, have a great week.
Okay, Councilman Polari, Vice President,
I'll just say ditto to everything so far.
you said ditto? Okay. Secretary, Joe Knowles?
I am looking forward to Unity Week. It should be a lot of fun, and I enjoy going to Lincolnia Church on Martin Luther King Day night. It's a great, was our opening night, but it's going to be a great celebration after our afternoon. We have an afternoon event. Check the calendar. All the events are very well done. The presentations, the various faiths take a lot of time to try to make it nice for people, and it's a really nice experience to go through the week. So make as many as you can. Also, I believe the 22nd of January is the Lunar New Year. So Happy New Year to all the Asian community on the 22nd. It's Gung Hei Fai Choi, and Happy New Year's in Chinese, but I don't, that's the only language I know,
Did you
so.
know that? Was that
But-
Mandarin?
No, that's Cantonese, actually.
Cantonese?
Yes.
I knew the Mandarin before I didn't understand.
That's Cantonese, I believe. But Happy New Year's to, I believe that all the Asian people celebrate on the Lunar New Year's, which is the 22nd of January, and it's the Year of the Rabbit. Yes, yes, yes.
You hear that, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
You hear that, Joe?
Yeah.
Huh? Did you hear that?
That's unbelievable.
It
Yep.
is. All right, thank you. Joe, you finished? I'm sorry.
I'm finished, thank you.
Okay. Stacy Champion, Councilwoman?
Thank you to all our law enforcement as we celebrate this, our Law Enforcement Day, especially our guys here ladies and gentlemen here in Bensalem who support both the officers and all the supporting personnel, and to my 3 direct family members in the Philadelphia Police Force. Keep them all safe and able to come home to our families. And thank you, all of them. And to our ladies who were here earlier, thank you very much for all the pride that you give to both your school and to your township. We have amazing kids in this township, in every school, no matter what it is, whether it's a parochial school, private school, or a public school. It's an amazing township education-wise. And thank you to the ladies. And good luck this year on your basketball, and good luck next year with volleyball. And for our 8th graders, good luck to them. And go Bulldogs for my niece and nephew.
Okay, and I'd like to finalize the comments by, again, extending the invitation for Unity and Diversity Week, January 15th to the 20th. It used to start, and is the icon of that thought is Martin Luther King Day, which is on, I guess, the following day. Celebrate it. And it begins in Love Tabernacle, I believe you said, on a Sunday now, Sunday evening, and it continues on. There are 1 or 2 functions a day. I don't know if there's 3, but there's quite a bit of activity, that's for sure, throughout the week. And as I said earlier, it is quite an opportunity to see how diversified Bensalem really is. There's no township like Bensalem with all the religions and ethnic groups that we have here, so it makes Bensalem wonderful and almost an example to the rest of the world as to who we are. Bensalem, that would be peace, would that be? Brother of peace or something like that? Joe, anybody? Bensalem? Yeah, brother of peace, something like that. Yeah.
City of Peace.
Well, son of peace, right. Okay, exactly. All right, so that's who we are, and that's our name, so that's pretty good. And, okay. Congratulations to St. Ephraim's team. That's really wonderful when we see ladies and gentlemen from different schools come up here and perform and just add to their resume of life, and we're so happy to acknowledge them, and congratulations to them one more time. Our next meeting will be we have January 23rd, and it's the day after New Year's.
Yes.
Okay, and thank you very much, and we are adjourned.